the Bible. And every Wednesday night we come to you here at the channel that you're viewing on. And we like to have an opportunity to kind of like go through different Bible lessons on different Bible books and topics. And so this is going to be the last lesson that we do on the book of Proverbs, and it will be on the topic of teachability. And so I want to welcome my wife in on the group here pretty soon as she will sit down and behave. Yeah. There she is. You're a lot taller than me tonight.
I don't like this chair.
All right, can you lower it? Do you want to lower it? On the side?
Not doing anything.
You,
Just go ahead and do your thing.
all right, you'll figure it out. Okay. So I'm going to swap out chairs for a moment. I have one chair that she could use, but she wants to use the ball chair. I have one of those bouncy ball chairs, and she likes that better than... There you go, Shorty.
Yeah.
So how's things been going for you, Janice?
Pretty good.
Good. So how about for today?
They were fine.
Okay. All right, well then let's just go ahead and we'll get started. And I want to bring in our guests tonight. And we have guests here from all over the country. And it's my understanding that we have people watching from all over the world. And so that's always fun when that happens. And so, hello, Nor. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking.
Good, good. And so, and then we have Lorene in the lower right-hand corner. What's happening, Lorene?
Not much.
You know,
Much
And
today.
not much today. And then we have Nikki there as the final batting, I guess, third in the lineup.
Yeah.
You know, so hey, well, that's good. So let's just go ahead and we'll jump in with our study this evening. How about before we get going on that? How about with the book of Proverbs? How have you, what has been some of the things that you have enjoyed in this particular study of the Bible? Anybody want to jump in?
I
Or
could
maybe
see
you
my-
haven't. Go ahead.
I could see myself in many verses.
Yeah. That's one of the great
I
things about the book of Proverbs.
and I could see myself, and it kind of gave me initiative to do more.
Yeah. Well, it's always good when the Bible challenges you to kind of step it up in your faith. And so it's always a good thing to do that. How about for you, Lorene? Anything that was a takeaway for you from the book of Proverbs, or just generally in studying it? How did you,
Yeah, it's kind of like what Nora says. It's kind of a little refresher course.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like the teachability lesson we're doing tonight. Is one of my.
Mm.
Yeah. So, Nikki, anything you'd like to add?
I think it's easy to read it and see what you see in other people, but I think it really shines a light on yourself, and I think that's what it's doing for me. It's really opened my eyes. Each section we've done is really good.
Yeah.
I think you could do it over again and just keep getting stuff out of it every time.
Oh, yeah, and there's plenty of other topics that we could go through in the book of Proverbs. And maybe what I'll do is I'll develop a new series of lessons from the book. Nor.
I'm kind of feeling guilty about that. I am retired because the in Proverbs, if you don't work, you don't eat.
I understand your husband made you a bowl of ramen tonight. Is that right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
It's in it. So yeah,
So, yeah. There you go. So that's good for you. All right. For whatever reason, my chair is now locked in. You think you hit my little handle there, and I can't stand that. Oh no. All right. I'll just have to deal with it. Okay. That's fine. So, there it is. Thank you. Oh man, I I need to be able to move about in my chair.
Kleenex right over
So,
there.
okay. So, how about you, Janice? Anything that you would like to say about the study in the book of Proverbs? Okay. Well, then let's just go ahead with our questions here tonight. And I'm going to take this off and I'm going to add this in. And so there we go. It says, someone has said your teachability index determines your success. That's not only true with respect to your professional success, but also your personal and relational success throughout life. Learn more about your teachability in this study of Proverbs. Teachability means able and willing to learn. Read Proverbs 1:20 through 33. And what are some lessons that we learn about teachability from this passage? Who would like to read that for us? Anybody?
I'll read it.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery, and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke. Then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand, since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I, in turn, will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overwhelm you, then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but will not find me. Since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they would not accept my advice and spurned my rebuke, they will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes. For the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm.
Okay. So, what are some of the lessons that we learn from this passage of Scripture about teachability? Anything that, any lessons at all that you drew from that when we went through and read it? Lorene?
Well, I liked how in the definition it says able and willing. And I think being is like a big step. And I know that, that's one of our steps in recovery is being willing to be willing. That that's a big step to get to, is to be willing. And so
Yeah.
I liked that. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Anything else that jumped out at you?
You're going to reap
ahead.
consequences.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nikki.
She
You're
said
going
you're
to reap consequences.
Yeah.
Or short-sighted living.
Yeah. And I think that that's a big mistake that a lot of people make, is that when they ignore the invitation of wisdom until they're in a jam, and then when they get in a jam, they really are calling out for wisdom, and they want to know the right way to go, and wisdom says, "Ha ha ha," you know, you didn't listen when you had an opportunity, and so you're not going to find me now. So, Nor?
I'd like the word willingness, because I have seen so many people that are able, very smart. I know a person or some person that have doctorate degrees, two, three of them,
Yeah.
five. They are all, very top notch, knowledgeable people who could be graduating in theological colleges or some Christian based colleges, but they learn everything, but they're not willing to give themselves, to
Yeah.
really to give themselves. They are able to learn, but they're not willing
Yeah.
to really surrender their life to Jesus.
That's so true.
Theologians, there's so many of them, but still, they're very good in theology, but I mean,
Yeah.
not willingness to.
Yeah, and I think that's a big danger that that theologians can face sometimes, is approaching the Bible as a book to just study rather than seeing it as a means to an end, and it's the means to knowing God better. And so that's really, applying its teachings to our lives is really the key to do that. Janice, anything you want to add?
I was just from the very first verse 20. Thought, it says wisdom is available to everybody.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So, okay, let's go ahead and we will move on to the next question. That it says a rebuke. It says a rebuke is to express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone because of their behavior or actions. Proverbs 27:5 reads, "Better is open rebuke than hidden love." Why is that? Go ahead, Lorraine.
I just remembered when we were raising our kids that we were trying to teach them when we gave them a timeout to think about what they had done or what they were about to do. To be that you need to take a pause and just figure out if you're just take a moment to examine the reason why you're doing what you think. That impulsiveness just gets in our way. We're just gonna run in and do it instead of and to me, so the rebuke from the friends maybe will stop you. Maybe will stop you in your tracks and make you think about what you're about to do or what you have done.
Yeah, yeah. And so really it's a whole lot better to hit the wall than to go off the cliff.
Yep.
And sometimes we need that in our lives, and sometimes we need some people to tell us that, hey, the bridge is out ahead, don't go down this road.
Yeah.
Don't be a bonehead. So, how about, do you guys have anybody in your life who can speak openly when you are kind of going off track?
I got a couple.
Okay, yeah, I do too. One's sitting next to me.
One is behind me.
Yeah, so that's good. So, okay, let's take the next question here. It says, why might someone hide their love rather than rebuke another? What light does Proverbs 9, 7, and 8 and chapter 28, verse number 23 shed on this? So somebody read Proverbs 9, verses 7 and 8 for us.
I have it.
Okay.
7 and 8. If you reason with an arrogant cynic, you'll get slapped in the face. Confront bad behavior and get a kick in the shins. So don't waste your time on a scoffer. All you'll get for your pains is abuse.
Yeah. Some people are very defensive when it comes to hearing anything. They really want you to, give them applause and, cheer them on and all. But they get very defensive when it's their turn to hear a rebuke. Proverbs 28, verse number 23, what does that say?
28, verse 23. 28, verse 23.
Do you have it, Nora?
Yep.
Okay, read it, please.
Whoever rebukes a person will in the end gain favor, rather than who has a flattering tongue.
Okay, so people who just flatter you, and they really don't give you any value, actually, except for maybe puff up your ego. But when someone rebukes you, that they really are bringing value to your life because it can help you to see where you need to correct. So, yeah, go ahead. First, yeah, like you guys know who I'm looking at.
But
Nor you first.
um, but rebuking, rebuking in a godly manner.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
the approach is very important on how you're gonna be rebuking a person. Because by the
Mm-hmm.
end, you might end up of being hit on your face if you
Yeah.
rebuke a person harshly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because like what you said, not too many people wants to be rebuked.
No. No.
I don't want to. Some people doesn't want to be pinpointed that that's their mistake. That's an error. That's not good, and so forth and so on. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nikki.
When they were talking about hidden love, I thought that was a really interesting expression, and I wasn't kind of sure what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
But I read this thing, it said hidden love is ensuring your true feelings are never expressed. And
Mm.
there is a person in my life that I'm afraid to be honest with because they get so upset and they
Yeah.
lash out. And I want to do it because I love that person, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
afraid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
hidden love. That's a really interesting expression to me.
What might help you to be able to maybe find a way forward to share with that person? Have you given that much thought?
In the past, well, this person says that they're Christian, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very like they believe in Christ, but they don't
Mm-hmm.
know what that means. When
Yeah.
I've kind of gone over scripture with that person, it was
Mm-hmm.
kind of good because it wasn't just coming from me, like I wasn't just making it up.
Yeah.
When I read it too, it kind of eased the situation and they didn't get as
Mm-hmm.
mad. So maybe I should approach it like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and
I don't
sometimes,
know.
yeah, and sometimes maybe just having a conversation about how you can have a difficult conversation. You know, saying that from time to time I'd like to be able to talk about topics of substance, and how can we talk about this in a way that you don't feel attacked, or I want to find a way to talk about this in a way that you don't feel attacked. You know, and so maybe having a conversation about how to have the conversation,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, that's a
might
good
be
idea.
might be helpful. Hey, if it blows up in your face, don't blame me.
I'm going to give that person your number.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Lorraine.
To be a good rebuker, you have to be wise. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be that who is wise, and it's really just practice, Nikki. I'm telling you, I have someone in my life like that. That every time I tried to talk to them, they would get so defensive, and once they were in the defensive, I couldn't talk at all. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't hear anything. I've learned to I learned to do it with a little bit of humor, and in and
Mhm.
and in a room of family, because some
Yeah.
people in the family was it was lighter. It
Yeah.
and I
Mhm.
it's not a deep rebuke or anything like that where they
Mm-hmm.
really did that, but I learned to just do it with just a little tiny bit of humor, and believe me, I've gone down the wrong path so many times. I'm just now at my age figuring out how to
Yeah. Yeah.
with the humor without putting someone on defensive. But I'm telling you, it's hard. It's really
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
learn.
It is. Nor.
Really.
I cannot agree more on what Lorraine said of being wise. So
Mm-hmm.
before I believe that before you rebuke a person, you're already armed with your with your you're already armed with like verses, like you're already
Mm-hmm.
armed with answers, that you can refer to, that that person you're rebuking is not thinking about you're making it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because you have
Yeah.
to really show that you have this foundation. Okay, this is what the what was written in the Bible. But if you're not wise, and just the people will just think, I'm just gonna look at you like, oh, you're making it up, and you make me feel like you're a better person than me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So,
I cannot agree more than that on that. Be wise on how we're gonna be supporting our every conversation that we make to that person.
Dennis.
I think that I agree really a lot with Lorene also, but I think too you have to go in with humility. Yes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. You know, another thing, I have a whole course, by the way, that and that doesn't mean that I do this perfectly, but I do have a course on how to help people to have difficult conversations. And one of the things that I think is important to do in is is to begin with reassurance, and part of the way. So I always I always encourage people to begin with reassurance, and then clarify your intentions. And so if you begin with reassurance and say, my relationship with you is important to me, you know, and so if you just begin by helping that person to understand, because it's very easy to feel judged and condemned and attacked and all. Then, then the intentions is that I would like to talk with you about something that I believe can either help our relationship, if that's the case, or can help you in dealing with other people, if that's the case, or whatever it is, you know. And so, if you if you reassure that person with about the importance of the relationship to you, and then clarify your intentions, that I would like to talk about something that is has been and typically what I believe is that I would like to talk with you, and I always tell people, if it's a personal thing, to say that I would like to talk with you about a problem that I'm having. And the reason why framing it that way is because it is your problem, even though that person may be the one who's causing it. So your problem is the resentment, or your problem is the alienation or the discomfort that you feel around the other person. And so what you're trying to do is clear up that alienation, discomfort, or whatever. Nor?
Uh, I would think that if the discussion becomes a little bit more difficult, I think we would need a third party, or probably a person with a more authority than us to speak to that person, like you, a pastor, or
Yeah.
just even
Yeah.
you know.
Sometimes that might help. And but if the discussion goes off track, there's no reason why you have to stay in the discussion. Now, I don't know why more people don't do that, but if the discussion goes off track, all you have to do is say something like, I can see that now is not a good time for us to have this conversation, so I'm going to step back from it. And
The best
and
thing
I
to do.
and it'd be cool if we could circle back around and talk about it at another time. But it's there's no reason. There's an old saying, or at least in recovery circles you hear this quite a bit, is that the tug of war is over when you quit tugging. So drop your end of the rope. you know,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Don't you think when you drop the end of the rope, they will fall?
It's taken us a long time to learn to drop the end, our end of the rope, right? you know. So, okay. So let's go on to our next question here. It says, read Proverbs 26:28. What harm comes when we fail to speak the truth to another
26.
person? Proverbs 26, verse number 28.
Ooh,
I'll do it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nikki.
A lying tongue hates those it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin.
Okay. So, what harm comes when we fail to speak the truth?
I think if we fail to speak the truth, uh, more likely the same situation would recur in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
The hurt will
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Lorene?
Well, I realized with my friends, the ones that speak the truth to me, is they can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And because when you're not speaking the truth, first of all, you have to remember that you didn't tell the truth, which is hard to do. But then you can't be trusted when it comes down to, it's like you can't be trusted if you're not going to tell the truth, then everything you say doesn't matter. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's really a matter of speaking trusted truth, because I don't want to be around someone who doesn't tell me the truth. I really don't.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's hard. I like
Mm-hmm.
everyone to like me. I'm a people pleaser or a recovering people pleaser.
Yeah.
But I want everyone to like me, but I realize that that's not really what I really want. I want people I can trust around me
Mm-hmm.
that, I don't know.
Janice?
I run in a circle, I think.
Well, I think that, I agree with you because I think that it's people who can talk to you about stuff that, you can trust them kind of like you can trust them with your heart, because they'll come and talk to you, but they're not saying it to hurt you or to be rude or anything, but they truly love you and want you to be able to hear this one thing about yourself or whatever, or your relationship or what's going on. And so if you can hear it and accept it with love, then it's going to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you. That's
that's
And
exactly
if you stop and think about it, because it, with respect to other aspects of life, this becomes so evident. So, for instance, if there was a bridge out and you had the opportunity to talk to somebody and say, don't take such and such a road, or don't go down this road because if you do, you're going to crash. Well, if to not say anything to them is an act of hatred, you know,
wow.
and it's because you care about them that you're warning them. Well, when it comes to spiritual matters and matters with respect to having healthy relationships with others, that and if you just ignore habitual problems that people have that are complicating those relationships, you're not showing love to that person. You're just letting them, you know, create wreckage wherever they go.
Mhm.
So, you know, so.
But I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of goes both ways because if you are the person who's bringing the complaint
Mm-hmm.
to someone and you know that they're going to accept it in love,
Yeah.
it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are the one who has to go talk to somebody who you think is probably going to bite your head off, chew it up, and spit it out,
Yeah,
even if you do have all the love in your heart
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you really know that this is the right thing to do, almost would say, go ahead and go over the bridge.
And I'll laugh at you while you're falling.
No, not really. But,
Yeah, I know.
like, at least you're not going to kill me in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think that that's what God wants us to do.
No, no. Yeah. You know. And really it's a matter of it's a matter of growth, and it's growth in two areas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about from our side.
Oh.
And here it is that one is that we have to be able to overcome our fear
Yeah.
Yeah.
of talking to another's. And then the second thing is that we need to learn how to do that, how to talk to people, have difficult conversations with people.
With difficult people.
Yeah, how to have difficult conversations with difficult people. You know, and sometimes it's a matter that I have to overcome my fear, but I also have to learn how to approach some, you know,
And then, like you were saying before, know when you just have to walk away.
you know,
Yeah.
know when to fold them. So
What's that movie with Al Pacino and he says you can't handle the truth?
that's not Al Pacino.
No,
Who is
Wasn't
it?
that?
that,
No, that wasn't Al
that's
Pacino
Jack
that said that.
Nicholson.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Is it
Jack
Jack
Nicholson,
Nicholson?
and
Oh, yeah.
and it was with Tom Cruise in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like when I talk to that person, that's the saying that comes up. Like you can't handle like that saying comes up. Like I know she's not going to be able to handle the truth, so I don't say it.
Right?
You know, yeah. I'm gonna give you access, Nikki, to my course for free, so that you can kind of go through, work through that, and if you have questions about it, that you can reach out. And I'm not saying it's the be all and end all.
You know how it says, how it's about how getting more trusted friendships with a person, and maybe you could just decide that person you don't really want to have a trusted friendship with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's too hard.
Well, and you know, and some people just aren't safe people.
Yep.
And and I always say the best place for a dangerous dog is behind a high fence. And if you stick your hand into the fence to pet the dog and you get bit, well, then whose problem is it? You know, I mean, that dog is just doing what dogs do, or dangerous dogs do, you know. So, but we need to learn, you know.
I can,
That's a dangerous dog.
Genesis.
Right on cue.
Yeah, Genesis.
I think
dog
she heard a cat.
is
well,
piping
Janice
up.
dogs cannot jump
You know.
the fence, so
Yeah, but we need to learn how to become dog whisperers, you know,
Yeah.
and to a certain extent, to learn how to do that well, and that's part of what God is doing. He's just not trying to grow up everybody else. He's trying to grow up us.
Yeah.
And that person may be in your life precisely to
Yeah.
learn these lessons, you know. Say, thank you, so and so, you're such a blessing to me.
that's funny.
You're an opportunity for my growth.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, yeah. Bless your
That-
heart.
That's actually the truth because even at the workplace, you make mistakes
Mhm.
and you get rebuked for the work you did, and the tendency is for you not to commit the same mistake. So that is
Yeah.
growth.
Hmm. Yeah.
That is actually growth. And I before I was very negative and everything, but I realized that after that when I get rebuked like that, then that means I will learn something new
There you go.
or I
Yeah.
will improve.
Hmm. Hmm.
And next time that things happen again, then I will know exactly the step that I would need to take.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead, Lorraine.
One more thing too is we forgot about is like before I rebuke somebody, I want a chance to ask God to help me because I don't want to go
Yeah.
around being a big rebuker. I don't want that job. I don't want it. There's certain people in my life.
Call Lorene.
I'll make, I'll make sure I bring somebody with me so I can go.
That job, but I want it with those people I'm close to. I want to be able to speak truth and honesty to those people that I'm close to. But I don't want a lady in the grocery store. She can be as mean as she wants to be. That's not my job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I am. I have, of course, worked my whole professional life in churches, and it's kind of some people see and believe it's kind of their role to be the church critic. And so, everything, they want to be able to correct you on everything that you say and how you say it, and that whether or not it's, I've crossed my doctrinal T's and dotted my doctrinal I's just the precise way. I knew a guy like that. He was unbearable, So I'm glad. I was happy when he left the church. so, it's that old saying: we haven't had any church additions lately, but we've had some blessed subtractions. Sometimes you need those blessed subtractions. So, all right. Okay. We got quite a few verses here. And what I think I'll do, while I would like to, go through the balance of this lesson tonight, I don't want to rush it. So why don't we pick up with question 6 next week? Okay?
That would be nice.
Let me see, because there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of verses, coming up. So we'll start with question 6 next week, and we'll wrap up with this one here tonight. So, according to these verses, what are some character defects, unhealthy attitudes, or bad habits that impede teachability? And we'll just go around the circle. So, Nora, if you'll do Proverbs 12:1. Lorene, if you'll do Proverbs 15:2. 12, sorry. You don't have to be so harsh. So, Nikki, Proverbs 18:2, and Janice, Proverbs 26, verse number 12. So let's start with Nora.
Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid.
Yeah. Hate correction equals stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was very harsh, okay?
that
It was.
is. But sometimes the truth hurts.
I didn't think God said the S word.
Yeah, he does. If you hate correction, you're stupid.
Oh my goodness.
Just think about so many areas in life that it's important for professionals to accept correction, like surgeons, law enforcement, the military, and on and on and on. That there are people who know how to do it well, and we should listen to those people. If that's true in our professional lives, how much more in our spiritual and relational lives?
Amen to that.
That why be stupid? So learn how to identify those areas in your life where you keep hitting the obstacles, and then seek correction. Somebody out there knows the answer, So, okay.
And sometimes we know the answer, we just get stuck, and we just need somebody on the outside asking us some questions so that we can figure it out.
Exactly.
I mean, I think we can figure a lot of stuff out if we'll just stop for a minute and listen to someone else, and then go, oh, here's where I went wrong.
Yeah. Well, not only am I a pastor, but I'm also a professional life coach. And one of the things that they drill into you when you are, and of course, anybody can call themselves a life coach. But actually, I went to a university where Nora worked at to learn how to get my master's degree in life coaching, and learn how to do that. But one of the things they drill into you when you are seeking to become qualified as a life coach is that just exactly what Lorraine said, is that the person already knows the answer, but your role as a coach is to ask the questions that will guide that person into self-discovery, you know. And so and I think that, you know, that we can always you know, help. And even if a person said, well, I just don't know the answer to that, then a follow-up question you could ask is that where might you look in order to find the answer? You know, go ahead, Nora.
How about if the response is, I'm not, it's beyond my paycheck.
There's
It's above my pay grade, okay?
above my
Don't,
pay grade. Yeah,
it's above my pay grade, okay? I cannot answer
yeah,
you that question.
yeah. But there is somebody out there who knows the answer.
Absolutely.
And so, so instead of you assuming the responsibility to spoon feed the answer to your client, is that put the ball back in their court and say, where might you go next to find the answer to that question? You know, and
So it
begin
goes back
exploring.
to what, yeah, it goes back to what Lorraine said, be wise.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, Lorraine, you had Proverbs 15:12.
Know-it-alls don't like being told what to do. They avoid the company of wise men and
Wise men and what?
women.
There you
Wise men
go.
and women.
Okay, alrighty. So, know-it-alls don't like to be told what to do. I always told my kids when they were growing up, and I don't know if this lesson stuck with them or not, but I always told them, you can't teach a know-it-all. And oftentimes they would just not be open.
Teenagers, especially.
Yeah, teenagers.
Yeah.
That's a definition of a know-it-all, right? You know,
Yeah.
so it's a teenager.
Or a sixth grader.
Now, let's don't get personal. We're not calling out the grandkids here.
None of them are in sixth grade.
Oh, I see. Okay. That, all right. So, yeah, that's true. Okay. So, verse number, Proverbs 18:2.
Proverbs
Fools
18.
Yeah, that's Nikki.
Fools find their pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions.
Yeah. Man, that is the social media verse right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
they delight in airing their own opinions, and they love saying it in a forceful and authoritative or intimidating way. You know, but so I, on occasion, I will walk into that, or I will kick that hornet's nest.
Then you get stung.
On occasion, you know, but I will do my best to be as diplomatic as possible. But I very rarely comment on anything that I see on X, formerly known as Twitter, because you know me, it's a
I've
dumpster
never
fire.
even looked at it. I don't even want to.
Yeah. So, okay, Proverbs 26:12, Janice.
See that man who thinks he's so smart? You can expect far more from a fool than from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's so harsh.
Yeah, it is. It's harsh, isn't it? Yeah. But the Bible calls it as it sees it, you know. And by the way, a fool is not an unintelligent person according to the Bible. It's someone who's not living their lives according to God's principles, you know.
Yeah.
And there's really nothing more foolish than that. You know. So, okay. All right. Well, I think that we'll wrap it up at that for now. You know, we've had a good visit here this evening, and we'll circle back. So save your notes, Janice. Don't throw them away like you did last time.
Okay.
You know. And then not next week, but the week following, we're going to begin a study in the life of King David. And
Cool.
so I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually preaching through that on Sundays, different parts of the life of David. And so it will certainly coincide somewhat with what we've covered in covered in the sermons. So, anything that you guys would like to say before we wrap up for tonight? How about for you? Do you consider yourself to be a teachable person?
I do.
Yes.
You do? Yeah. Yeah.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think you.
want that. I want to always be teachable. I want to always be learning something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope to maintain that spirit myself. So, all right, guys, that's good. We will connect again next week. Once again, as always, I value you all.
And I would like to say thank you
Yeah.
to everyone and my family that's watching right now.
Do you have any family in the Philippines that's watching?
Yes, it's Steve Oxtera, Myrna's son.
Oh, good.
Oh,
How about
Uh,
in
my my
Australia?
son
Any?
is watching, and I have a friend, and her name is Lynn
Okay,
Cortez Domingo, and she's also watching right
great.
now. And I'll tell you more
Yeah.
later.
Well,
More,
I'm.
and I believe,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah,
and I believe
and
you're still watching.
Nora's one of our big promoters. That she does a great job of sharing, the links and the broadcasts with people in her circle of influence. And so, thank you, Nora, for we got right here. It says it right there. Watching from the Philippines.
Whoa, whoa,
Isn't that cool?
woo.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
That's neat.
So, all right. Nora got so excited she froze. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up tonight. And so, once again, thank you for helping us out. And so, I'm going to just scoot over here. And Janice, thank you for helping me out and doing the broadcast this evening. We are going to be doing one more. We're going to go the second half, the second round of this being a person of character. And then the week following, we will start our discussion on the life of David. And I am going to post the discussion guide for the life of David. I will have that active by tomorrow. And so that way you'll be able to download that and work on that information in advance. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. That's it for now. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.